Now let's try to understand commands through one example. Later on we will try to understand what exactly happens behind the scene in case of commands. So just to understand the concept, just to understand the implementation first, what I'm going to do is in our demo 00 project, I'm going to add one window. Let's name it as window 12. Then in this window, I'm going to add some UI, and before that, let's make window 12 as a startup file. So in window 12, what I'm going to do is, as usual, we will be adding one stack panel, and then we will use here a couple of text boxes. So let's call text box. Here we will have txt, let's say cpy, that is for copy. We will just try to, on a button click, we will try to copy the text from one text box and we will try to paste it into other text box. It's that simple. So I'll have here height, width as usual given. By default, this text box we will copy paste and we'll name it as txt paste. We will have couple of buttons as well added over here. Let's name it as btn copy. Let's name it our height width as in 280, and we will name content as simple copy, and then we will have this button added now. Let's call it as btn paste, and we will put a content here that is paste. So if I run this content, what you will see is by default two text boxes and two buttons, and then whatever I'll put up here, for example ABC, if I copy, if I paste, as of now nothing happens because we haven't written any code behind these buttons, and neither we have added the feature that we are going to see is called as commands. So it's obvious that if I ask you to write down the code against these buttons, what a normal developer will do is, normal developer will study something called as clipboard. Then normal developer will try to take the data from txt copy, put it in the clipboard. Whenever somebody clicks on paste, take the data from the clipboard and put it in the txt paste. It's that simple. But then what if we, without writing this piece of code, if we achieve this? In that case, what we have here is we have a concept called as commands. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mention here one property called as command for a button. And then I'm going to mention here that I have an intention of binding this, or we can just directly mention I am interested in having a command here which is called as application commands dot copy, and then same thing I'll copy and put here as a property called as paste, and then we will mention from where to copy. So we'll mention here command target. So I would like to copy this from the element called as txt copy, and on the second button click we will mention my target is element name called as txt paste. That's it. I have not written a single line of code in the code behind, which means if I go to view code, there is no code I have written with respect to copy paste code or with respect to copy paste functionality. Now if I run this application, let's see whether it works. See to it, by default copy and paste both the buttons are disabled because I haven't added anything in the text box first so that I can copy something, and I have not, there's nothing on the clipboard, so obviously paste is also disabled. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add here ABC. The time ABC is added, still copy button is disabled because to copy something we have to select it. As and when I select something, you will find, okay, so I believe there is some problem. Let me check quickly. Okay, it's my fault. So I should have added here txt copy and I should have added here txt paste. The reason behind that, I am actually targeting to taking data from text box copy and text box paste. Let's run this one more time and see what happens now. So here by default, I have something copied, I believe. Let me check what is copied here. Or if I just click on paste, you will find out some data is added over here. So what I need to do now is I need to put up some content because we copied and we pasted the same code replica sometime back. So anyway, copy is disabled right now. What if I put up here ABCD? Still copy button is not on, but if I select it, now the copy button is on. So if I click here, the data ABCD goes on the clipboard, and if I click on paste, the data is actually copy pasted into second text box. So here, data from text box taken into something called as clipboard, and clipboard data is taken into something called as second text box. So how does this work without writing code? The feature that we have is called as commands. Does that mean it is ready-made feature, there is no code written? No, there is a code written, but that code is written somewhere else. So application commands.copy, what does it mean? What exactly application commands is, what exactly copy means, where exactly code is written. So we need to understand it in this commands as in section. So more to it when we understand commands in the next couple of sessions.